welcome to a new Harry's Farm video, and it's late July, it's 30 degrees, combines are going all around us. We've got the combine out and we're not combining, and yeah, in this video I'll explain why. And we'll also have a little look around the farm, some of the things happening, and we've got some, my wild bird seed has come up, I've got some borage I want to show you, and just discuss what's going on in agriculture generally at the moment. But yeah, why aren't we combining? It's all done, it's all been serviced, that tyre's repaired, it's got new oil in the engine, it's all the knives are done. If you pop round the front here on the header, today's job was just changing some of these sections. And yeah, this is sort of the knife that you can see. That's not a very good, that's meant to be flat. That's another reject, it's got a bit off there. So you can see on here, the ones we've changed. You just run down it and see what needs doing. So it's all serviced up, all ready to go, but the crop isn't behaving yet. And I'm going to have a look at that in a moment. But one thing I just want to show you, the frustration with combines. You leave them all year and you keep the best care of them, and then you have one rodent come in and decides, oh, I fancy chewing that wire. And it's so frustrating. I'm going to show you the wire that was chewed that stopped this combine working, and why we've had to do quite a lot of repairs on it. I'm just going to grab the camera. With combines, it's not that easy. You have to clamber up them, which is all sort of part of the fun of owning a combine. I quite like it when you have to clamber up to inspect an engine. That's the big tank ready to be filled. But what I actually want to show you is just on the engine. So this is all covered up, all in the shed, all kept very well. But something decided to chew that wire there. How, why? On the engine, just going down to a sensor there. Yeah, that's the one it chewed. It's got loads of other wires. Could have, look at all those wires. It could have chewed all of those. No, I didn't fancy that one. I just fancied that wire there. So frustrating. And I suspect that was a squirrel, not a rat, because we're right up here. But yeah, it's one of those things that drives farmers nuts. When you think you've got a rat-free, mice-free shed, and you put the combine away, keep it safe, and yeah, a squirrel decides to do that, or something. I'm guessing it's a squirrel. Anyway, let's go and have a look at the wheat. Here's a field of wheat, and yeah, it looks fit. It looks ready to go, ready to combine, but it's not. And I want to just point out that is a sudden massive amount of spring wild oats and thistles and things that's come, and that was a flooded area, but because it's kept raining this year, the weeds have kept growing. So you control the weeds, but no, they have a last gasp go. Right, we can still do this before harvest, and there they all are. Really frustrating, but it's a tiny bit of the field. But what you're looking for when wheat is fit and ready to combine is sort of bend over. There is a typical ear. That's where you want to look, sort of curved like that. Sorry, somebody's just ran away. I don't know what that was, but that is ready to combine. And I could just get a bit of grain out of that. I'm not going to take the whole head out, and yeah, hard as nails, absolutely fit. But you see these, and that's not sort of leaning down, and I can see a hint of green here and there. So right beside it, I have ears like that. If I take some grain out of that, well, there's what the grain looks like in that wheat ear, and that's as soft as anything. So that's just going, well, it's between doughy and chalky. It's not quite set. And that's the frustration this year, that we've suddenly had all this hot weather. I mean, you don't normally combine wheat in July, but you're tempted to go because it's so hot and it sort of looks fit, and you can find a ear that's ripe. But in reality, when you put a combine into a crop like this, it will find all those green heads. Look at them all, they're everywhere. green as anything, and you get that in the mix, and that'll go hot and it'll put the moisture right up. So I'm having to be patient, and I'm having to walk away. They always say, when you think the wheat's fit, go on a week's holiday. And that's where I am at the moment. I'm enjoying this wonderful weather, but I'm going to just stay indoors, watch the Olympics or something, and not go combining, even though some of my neighbours have combined. And in a funny way, this is a really good sign. I think I've got a cracking wheat crop. This is a third wheat. It should not look anything like as good as this. But I've grown Dawson wheat this year. Disease control was good, and neighbours have grown some other varieties. Wheat, there's lots of wheat varieties, and you grow them for various reasons, different uses, from milling, soft wheats, and feed wheats, which is this. So this is going off for chicken feed, something like that. And they all have different characteristics. And I grow Dawson because it's a good high yielding feed wheat with very good disease resistance. And this year has been terrible for rust, with all the terrible weather and septoria as well. But it doesn't get rust, and neighbours who grew varieties were a bit susceptible to brown rust. Nightmare, died off. They've combined because it's all basically died off. The way this is hanging on is actually a good sign, even though it's really frustrating because I want to go and combine it. Anyway, let's go and have a look at some other parts of the farm. I can't get over this strip of wild carrot we've got along here, because I cultivated all this area up and then we planted the wild bird mix there. And for whatever reason, look at it. It wasn't in the mix as far as I know, it's just in the soil. We've always had a sort of wildflower mix here, but I'm staggered how that's come along there. And then once you get actually into what we actually put in, there's all sorts in here. Obviously there's this mustard everywhere, so you're just getting this sort of pod set. This is like oilseed rape, but has no hasn't had any nitrogen on it, so it's, you know, it's not as like a big crop of oilseed rape. That's the triticale that's come really quick. You know, you think when we put it in the ground, it was a while. I'm trying to think when it was. I think it was in May. So this is only weeks here. And this, I thank a reader, so can't name check you, but he did comment. I thought this was maize when I first saw it, but it's actually millet, which was in the mix, and I should have spotted that really. So yeah, lots of things. I'm just looking to see if there's a sunflower. Oh, there we are. There's a sunflower coming up. Well, we've been to France recently, and when they're all in flower there, are we going to get the flower? There's the flower just appearing. Come on, sunflower, you can do it before this all sort of goes off. But yeah, amazing how much this is growing. And as I say, this is a wild bird mix. This is part of the SFI, all the countryside stewardship schemes I'm doing, and it's gone really well. And this is actually a 1 year mix. I've tried the 2 year mixes, and they don't seem to work as well as you want them to. And I think it's just more reliable to put a 1 year mix in. It's half the price, just very easy. We spin it on, doesn't cost anything to put in. And this is a proper crop. This is radish here as well. So yeah, because the 2 year mixes tend to rely on kale, and with this cabbage stem flea beetle that gets all the oilseed rape, it also gets kale as well, so it's quite hard to get established, and you're paying more for it. And if it doesn't establish first year, well, it's going to be no good in the second year either, so you end up doing a 1 year mix anyway. So yeah, just while I'm talking about oilseed rape, a lot of people have now combined that, and it's staggering what's happened to that crop this year. We knew it was dropping off, and the actual area in the ground was dropping off, so there's going to be less growing, but the yields haven't been very good in 2024 either. And we have a consumption of oilseed rape in the UK of around 1.8 million tonnes. They think the 24 harvest is going to be about 900 tonnes. You don't have to go back. You go back to 2012, we were exporting 700,000 tonnes. So we're growing 2-point-something million tonnes of rape. 2024, we're down to 900,000 tonnes, and just going on a perception and chatter amongst farmers, that might go down to 600,000 tonnes next year. It's just decimated the tonnage of obviously rape being grown in this country, food if you like, and with all these environmental things happening as well, the wheat tonnage is going down. I don't know what's going to happen in harvest 25 when reality hits, when the actual amount of food produced in this country has dropped so dramatically. We're not talking about 10%, we're talking about half the amount, and we're huge numbers. And I notice also stock numbers on the upland farms, the reports just being published, they're massively downwards. So they've dropped 600 and something thousand head of sheep this year, just in 1 year alone. Don't know, I'm sure the government know what they're doing, all these schemes, but it's having a dramatic effect on the amount of food we grow in this country. I see just Charlie, if you hear something in the background, that's the combine put away for tonight, because we've just seen a forecast and there's thunderstorms coming tonight, potentially, and in the morning, so we're going to put the combine away. Right, I just want to show you this borage, which is also on the farm, and that's a pollen and nectar mix, and it's pretty spectacular at the moment. Yeah, just before we go and have a look at the borage, I want to show you what's happening here. This is actually all been left for hay and a bit of haylage. So this is all the grass for we were grazing early in the season, and then we had got all the cattle out early May or something, and then it's left, and we get the haymaking supplement. And you can see wild carrots here. It's just one of those plants that actually really likes this soil for whatever reason, and this field is also fairly full of it. But look how much bulk of grass we've got, and that's all because it's been so wet. But yeah, this is a sort of hidden corner on the farm. We're right down the far end of the farm, and this was in arable reversion. It was arable years ago, and then we swapped over, did something called arable reversion, and we put a pollen and nectar mix in, and it's just amazing now, because it's about 1.6 hectares of borage. And I don't know why we've got this sort of takeover of borage out here, but it's pretty amazing at this time of year. And you come down here, it's 8 o'clock in the evening at the moment. I mean, it's so thick you can barely walk through it. I've come down now because I thought the bees might have disappeared. This is just buzzing with bees. When the sun's on it, it is absolutely full of bees. I saw Jeremy Clarkson put a note out saying, "Well, I don't know where all the bees have gone." They're here, mate. They're all in here. And yeah, what's good about borage is it continues to flower. So this all comes up. You can see how many buds still to come on here, and bees absolutely love it. And this is going on this new scheme, AB8, a wildflower mix for pollen and nectar. Unfortunately, borage is not on their list of requirements, but I can see that it says if you have a nectar-rich, pollen-rich, it's already established, plants there already established on the area, you can carry on. So I'm just going to ask whether I can continue this, because it is absolutely fantastic. You could not wish for a better crop of borage than this on this area, and it provides loads of pollen and nectar, so I would have thought it ticks lots of boxes. I just hope that they allow me to continue with this crop down here. So there you go, that's what's happening on Harry's farm at the moment. We've got this pause where I've got to be patient. I cannot get over how well the crops look. We've got some first weeks, it's just wall-to-wall wheat, weird after this crazy season we've had, and I just hope that it corrects the disaster of 23 harvests and we have a good harvest this year. But I won't know for a few weeks. So there you go, that's what's happening on Harry's farm. If you have enjoyed the video, well, keep watching, keep subscribing, more videos coming on very soon.